Hey everybody, my name is Kyla. I started this video without realizing I couldn't record it. So that was great. Anyways, I've already gotten started in my face. This is my very first video, so it's pretty much just to introduce myself, tell you guys a little bit about myself, and to do makeup as I do it. So, of course, my name is Kyla. I am 25, and I want to tell you all how I got into makeup. So, back in middle school, was probably the first time I had ever picked up any makeup, and it was eyeliner. I can't remember if I had taken it from my mom or she had gotten it for me. But I remember I sneaked it to school so that I didn't do it in front of her. I never did my makeup in front of my mom. I wouldn't let her see it. I did not have any friends in middle school. In fact, I was very bullied. The reason being was because I grew up very sheltered. I was homeschooled up until 5th grade. Bullying was very, very bad for me. I had things from death threats to people who threw rocks at me. I had kids throw sand at me. Just really nasty, horrible things. And it was pretty devastating. Until I had one girl who was incredibly nice to me, and being sheltered, I had no idea that there was such thing as like bi, gay, things like that. Like, I didn't really know about. And this girl was bi, and she was one of the most beautiful people I had ever met in my life. She had rainbow colored hair, she had piercings, and she did dark eye makeup. So my very, very first influence was this girl, and I loved the dark eyes that she did. And of course I started getting into the scene look just like her, and it was a really big influence going, because the bullying got so bad that we ended up moving. And this girl was such a big influence that, you know, I took that with me. So I kept doing the dark circles around my eyes, and I was a bit seeing myself. And that was probably the very start of everything. And it was the start of sort of seeing that I could be good at something. And I remember I struggled a lot with self-image as a young child. The reason being was because at home, my sister pretty much thought I was disgusting because I was bigger. So here's a good example for you. You know, this was something that I pretty much dealt with on a daily basis. Was this much of my stomach could be showing, and she would go, "Ew, that's disgusting. You need to cover that." Or she would call my mom and be like, "Mom, her stomach is showing, make her cover it." That was something that I dealt with on a constant basis. And the sad part was, I went to my mom and I was like, "Hey, if we could do something that would help me lose weight, like, I would really appreciate the help. But, like, please don't tell my sister. Because she sort of makes it hard for me." But what did my mom do? She told my sister. And it would become her laughing at me because I jiggled. So I dealt with constantly feeling like I wasn't good enough, like there was something wrong with me, and it was just super duper sad. You know, nobody should ever have to deal with abuse like that, because that is abuse. And it got to the point where I ended up with an ED. I was vomiting every day, and it definitely took its toll. I was a binge eater for a while, a few years. I am, however, on a good track, and during all of these really crappy times, going into high school, I started to finally play with foundation, eyelashes, and I would do a little wing with my incredibly dark eyeliner that I loved to do around my eyes. I think back in my day, we called it raccoon eyes. That was me. I did that. And the more I did it, there was just so much negativity surrounding it, and it was, oh, you're not doing your eyeshadow right, you're not doing this right, and that all came from my sister. And the more I heard that, the more I was sort of just like, no, this is fine. This is completely fine. I like the way that I do it. So I kept doing it. I kept making myself happy rather than making her happy. And then I started to realize that I was actually really, really good at doing some of this stuff. And my mom, when she had remarried when I was very young, I stopped seeing my dad because the man that she married told me that if I kept seeing my dad, that he would leave my mom. So I stopped seeing my dad because I wanted to see my mom happy. And the man that my mom married was a Jamaican. And because of that man, I got to experience a totally different culture. I've actually been to Jamaica. There was a woman in Jamaica that I would call my grandma. It was such a blessing in disguise. And because of that, I had a lot of influence from Black women. And Black women in my life were some of the most independent, gorgeous women who would build me up. Me. Which I was shocked. You're building me up. You're making me feel good. Like, yes, please. Give me some more of that. Like, I need that confidence. And a lot of the Black women that I was surrounded by celebrated their curves, and it was something that I had never experienced before. Being bigger, being curvy was never a good thing in my household. So, to see these women embracing themselves, seeing the makeup that they did, seeing the way that they dressed, made me want to get into that too. So by the time I was sort of graduating high school, a lot of my influence came from the way Black women had done their makeup. And, you know, getting into social media like Instagram, there was just so much that I got to learn and so much that I got to see that I was like, okay, it is time. It is time. I sat down and I would go through video after video of how women did their makeup. I never followed anybody because to me it was like it didn't really occur to me. Now it does. Now I do follow people. But I followed the tutorials, fell in love, and I started to realize that I was really, really good at makeup. So I started getting really, really, really into it to the point where it was almost a daily thing. I was trying to play with makeup, and I loved it. it was never something that made me feel bad. It was always something that I could do for myself, where I created my own look, and I always just felt good. So I kept doing it. I kept practicing, and then I told my mom that, you know, I wanted to do something with makeup. I wanted to be a shining star in the makeup world. And here is where everything sort of took a turn for me. One day my mom had invited me out to go have drinks with her at a place by her work. But she had said that she needed to stop by and do something at work before we went down and had sushi and drinks. So I was like, okay, you know, I didn't really think anything of it until we got inside and my mom had a woman there that she was, of course, friends with. And I feel like I'm gonna get emotional because of this. She started talking to this woman, and I really don't want to cry. I can't do that because, you know, makeup and tears don't go well. But she ended up talking to one of her coworkers, and they both ended up just sort of telling me, you're never gonna get anywhere with makeup. So I was devastated. My mom had pretty much taken me to her work, invited me out, all to have her coworker tell me, oh, you're never gonna be anything. You're never gonna get anywhere. You're not good enough. That was what I got. That's what I got from my own mother. And I had the place I wanted to go to picked out. I wanted to go to Sheridan Tech. Never got to go. But I was incredibly devastated. And it took a huge toll on doing makeup after that. I stopped for a while. I just did not feel confident enough to do my makeup after that conversation. And I sort of took a break from social media. But makeup never went away from me. It was always something that I wanted. It was always something that tugged at my heartstrings. And now, so more than ever, I've gotten really, really good feedback on doing my makeup and things of that nature. So it feels like, especially like I've had friends go, please, like, make a tutorial, make something, let me watch you do your makeup. So I decided that this would be a great sort of start to a journey with makeup that I'd share with all of you. And one thing I really, really want to stress and really, really just sort of want everyone to take from this is that it doesn't matter who tells you what. It doesn't matter who tells you whether you can do it, whether you can't. You live one lifetime. One. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're gonna go the right route, I think everybody has the right to do something that makes them happy. And If you feel like you want to do makeup, do it. If you feel like you want to cut hair, do it. You know, do things that make you happy for yourself. Do not go through life the way that I did. Do not go through life trying to appease everybody else and make everybody else happy, because it's not worth it in the end. You just end up depressed. Nobody wants to be depressed. I know I don't. So, you know, I got into growing up. I loved fashion. Wearing Fashion Nova. Anyways. But I kept going for it. I kept doing my makeup, and I kept doing things that I allowed myself to enjoy. And I allowed myself to be happy, which I think is such a big deal. You know, your happiness doesn't come from anyone but yourself. And at the end of the day, it's going to make you grow. And it's going to give you a little insight of who you are to yourself. Allow yourself to do things not only because they're going to make you happy, but because it's going to help you love yourself. And that is such a big deal to me, because so many people are like me. And that's a hard one for me to take in, because I lived my entire life thinking that I wasn't even pretty. You know, I thought that I was ugly. I thought that I was gross. Come to find out, that's not true. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And behold, I feel like I'm beautiful. And that's not something that happens overnight. That's not something that you can just go out and make happen. It's just something that happens. And I think it's really, really important to remember all the things that make you different are the things that make you special. And I think that it doesn't matter if you're big or small, skinny or anything else. You should be able to enjoy who you are. You should be able to enjoy your life to its fullest extent, because you're worth that. And if anyone tells you different, kick them to the curb. We don't have time to play into all of these people saying that we are and we aren't. Be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. Invite into your life things that make you happy, because that is what's worth it. If I can get you to know anything about me and take anything away from this, it is that being different makes you beautiful. Being yourself makes you strong. Because I had to learn those things for myself. And I have to say, learning that I am beautiful, learning that I am who I've always wanted to be, has helped me love myself in a way that I never thought was possible. And I think it's really, really important that everybody realizes that you may not like yourself now, but there is going to be a time when you grow, where it's going to hit you one day and you'll look in the mirror and say, damn, I'm beautiful. No matter what I'm who I want to be. No one can change that. And I think that's a really special thing. You know, I always want to be the type of person to build people up instead of tear them down. So it doesn't matter what size you are, where you come from, who you are. You're beautiful. I think you're beautiful. And one day, I hope, if you don't already, I hope that, you know, you think you're beautiful too. Finally, for the finishing touches. So, excuse me while I fix my hair. Well, this was my first video, and I apologize. I was like halfway done when I realized I couldn't. When I realized I couldn't actually record this video. But, you know, I hope you guys liked it. If you want more, just let me know by giving it a like. Share it if you feel like. Don't like it if you don't, you know. Whatever it is what it is, and that's nothing I can do about it. Well, I love you all. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this lovely journey. I am not going to be editing this only because I want it to just sort of be as authentic as possible. You know, I feel like I can have you guys better relate if I don't sort of jump and skip. So, well, that is it. I love you all, and I will see you next time.